Hey everybody, it's Gone Turbo here. This is Skyrim Special Edition on Xbox One. In this video, I wanted to show you a series of mods and a load order that, in my testing, seem to do a really nice job of increasing foliage, trees and grass density with still a really good performance, mostly meaning your frames per second, or your FPS. And what I'm really comparing this to is a previous load order, trying out some different mods that made trees and grass and foliage more dense and lush. However, these mods seem to, again, almost capture the same feel with a better performance. First mod we're going to look at is Dark Ages, Trees of the North. This is almost 34 megabytes. This is by Tarshana, and basically what this does is make your pine trees larger, taller, and more lush. It changes the colors of aspen trees, or I should say gives variety to aspen trees, so you have yellow, orange, red. It also makes the winter or snowy trees more lush, but doesn't necessarily increase their size. And it also does increase or improve the LOD, or level of detail, which is that background, the background of the game, to be a little bit more detailed. Now, I have this Dark Ages mod towards the top of my load order. It looks, first of all, it looks fantastic. It is comparable, I would say almost exactly comparable, to Lush Overhaul when it comes to the density, or the lushness, if you will, of the pines. And I think the aspens as well. But one of the things personally that I don't care for is the texture of the bark that this mod seems to change. So I have it above graphics pack because I like the texture of the pine trees that graphics pack provides. There are different tree bark textures out there. So whatever you put towards the bottom is what's going to show up. So for me to put Dark Ages above graphics pack, the graphics pack bark will overwrite the Dark Ages bark, if that makes sense. But further down in my load order, in category 4, I have all of my foliage kinds of mods. And again, I followed the Dropbox load order document. And what I have here in my series is Trees and Cities, Divine Forests, Gardens of Whiterun, GT's Gardens of Whiterun. I do have HD photorealistic ivy, and I use Veydosebrom dense version. I have landscape fixes for grass mods, and I also have Skyrim is windy underneath this one as well. So what I used to play with was Lush Overhaul. I had Lush Overhaul, I believe, under Veydosebrom, and I also had, I had Lush Overhaul. So Lush Overhaul gave that lushness to trees, but also grass and all other kinds of plants. The Veydosebrom version I use is the dense version, and what I was finding is that I was getting a frame rate hit in a lot of different areas, forested areas, grassy areas, other areas where I might have had tree mods. And what was really happening was, I had incredibly dense, thick grass. I even tried the Veydosebrom normal version, but it wasn't, with Lush Overhaul, it wasn't dense enough for me. So there's always a little bit of give and take, but what I'm finding is that with taking away the Lush Overhaul, the Dark Ages will provide the lushness to the trees, The Veydosebrom dense will provide a dense grass feel or look, and that helps with performance. The sacrifice is that the flowers and the bushes and some of those kinds of things aren't going to be as dense in certain areas, but you're giving a little bit of a give and take here happening as well. I do like trees in some of my cities, so the Trees in Cities mod, I think, adds a nice little flavor of trees to cities. But I don't have Project Hippie. I love Project Hippie, which adds a lot of trees to towns and cities. But there's definitely conflicts with if you have all of these mods happening. You're going to have trees overlap, and it just doesn't look really great in certain places. Another mod that I do have is a mod that is just simply called Whiterun, and you can find it only, it seems to be, in the work in progress section. So you might have to go to the Bethesda website, find it under work in progress, and then add it to your library that way. But that adds things like benches and clutter. It adds a little archway in the in Whiterun. Banners in the market, things like that, fences in some cases, and sometimes that can conflict with some tree mods. In this load order here, it isn't actually that bad. There's only 2 small conflicts. It's really not really noticeable. But again, the point is that Veydosebrom dense, the Dark Ages forests of the north, can give you that lush feel without having to use the mod Lush Overhaul, as great as that is, and it does help with performance. So I hope this is helpful. Give this a try if you really like a dense forest and grass and foliage feel with a little bit better performance. I hope this has been helpful. I'll talk to you again soon.
I'm the commander of the guard here in Whiterun. My boys will keep you safe. Don't you worry.
What is it?
You're not thinking of causing trouble here in this beautiful city now, are you? Because I'd strongly advise against such foolishness.